Hello everybody and welcome back to another Figurehead Reviews video, and today we are going to be taking a look at the Marvel Legends Sauron Wave Bishop. Here we have Bishop displayed in the front window box. We got an X-Men logo at the bottom, we get an X logo at the top, we got Bishop here on the side with some very cool looking artwork, and on the back we get a product shot as well as all the other figures needed in this wave to complete the Sauron Build-A-Figure, and at the top we do have the read-up. On the advice of his grandmother, Alpha-mutant Bishop seeks out the X-Men and uses energy conversion and concussive blasts to join the ranks of his heroes of legend. And at the bottom we do have the UPC code, so you can check with your local retailer to see if they have this in stock. But enough about that, let's get this open and take a look at Bishop. And here is Bishop outside of his packaging, and I've mentioned it in some other videos, but Hasbro has really been delivering on getting us some 90s versions of some of these X-Men characters, and we get another great one here with Bishop. Pretty sure I actually have the issue, the first appearance of Bishop, which, I mean, you can find them for relatively cheap. Most of the X-Men comics from the 90s you can usually get pretty inexpensively. But I remember Bishop from the X-Men cartoon, and I think it's just awesome that we are just continuing to fill out that 90s roster. So aside from his Build-A-Figure piece, Bishop does come with his shotgun here, which we can see is pretty cool looking, actually. Not a ton of detail to it other than just a whole lot of lines. It is a double barrel, and it kind of stinks that those aren't open so that you could put in those blast effects that we've seen with Iron Man. That you can use in some of the other weapons that we've seen for some Marvel Legends. But you get the nice grip down here, and you get a big trigger opening there, so that even though Bishop has these big hands, he is able to actually get the trigger finger in there, so that actually works out quite nicely. And he does have this holster in the back that you can pop it in as well, so that is pretty cool. And he does have a trigger hand on this hand too, but as you saw, I had it where I had him just kind of holding it underneath the stock there, so that is pretty cool. And getting a better look here at the head sculpt for Bishop, and it's a very cool looking head sculpt. The M there, his mutant tag, so to speak, it looks like it was actually sculpted in, so that is pretty cool as opposed to it just being painted on. And yeah, not bad. The goatee looks good. Teeth look good. The paint looks good. The hair looks good. Yeah, really well done. And you got to love the 90s, that classic mullet. But the hair sculpt, like I said, came out looking really cool. So I think they just did an awesome job, and for the most part, mine seems to be painted pretty decently too. The eyes came out looking good. I had seen Shartimus Prime's review, and his didn't have the eyebrows painted, so I came down and checked mine, and it looks like they missed a corner there. But for the most part, his eyebrows were painted. But going down to the rest of the figure, so we have the bandana on there, which looks good. He does have this holster here, which is what has the larger holster for his shotgun that you can, of course, just pop in there. The downside is, notice I just pushed it too far, and it definitely sticks out way too far, so you're probably going to have it sticking up like that. But yeah. And then checking out the paintwork here on this logo, not bad. Hasbro's finer details on some of the smaller logos usually is a little splotchy. Yeah, but overall not bad. The line work going down his chest doesn't look too shabby. X-Men belt, a lot of pouches, red X. Let's see how the paint came out on that. Yeah, not bad. And then going down the rest of the figure, we saw the trigger hands there. The skin tone looks good. And the only other thing that's kind of interesting to me is they chose to have the yellow joint there, when obviously he has the blue stripe that goes right down where that would be. So I kind of feel like they should have had that be blue as well. And it actually looks like, yeah, so they actually painted that. So it was blue. They could have just left it blue, and honestly it would have looked fine because of that blue stripe that's running down. So that's kind of an odd choice. But then he's got the dark boots, and yeah. So it's a body sculpt that we've seen before, but I think it's executed well here. So taking a look at the height, we can see that Bishop is coming in at almost 7 inches tall, so one of the bigger figures out of this wave. But we have a head that can go side to side, but it does get stopped by the hair there. He can bury his chin all the way down into his bandana, but looking up, it is a little bit inhibited by that hair again. We have arms that can come up, not too bad. Of course, you got full rotation. Do have a bicep swivel. These pieces I failed to mention do slide around, so just, as you're posing them, that might be a thing. Double jointed elbows. We have rotation and a hinge at the wrist, and that's I forgot to mention, they do hinge up and down this way as opposed to side. You do have a pretty deep ab crunch, not too bad. Very far back. Oof, man, very far back. You do have waist rotation, legs that can go apart pretty far. However, mine is kind of weird. This leg is really stiff, and it feels like it just won't go any further apart. So that's kind of a peculiar setup there. We can kick forward that far, backwards that far, upper thigh cut, double jointed knee, boot cut, and then you do have a ankle hinge with ankle pivot. And here we have all the figures in this wave, including the Build-A-Figure. We have the boxer shorts Deadpool, Bishop, Lady Deadpool along with Headpool, Wolverine, Omega Red, and then the X-Men suited Deadpool, and then Sauron in the back. And that about does it for this review, everyone. And overall, as I've mentioned before, I'm loving that we're getting just more and more of these 90s X-Men figures, and Bishop was a great addition to that line. So very happy to get this figure. It was really well done. And yeah, I honestly, maybe just some little different articulation. I would love to see more butterfly joints, especially in these bigger figures. I love that we got that on Omega Red. I think it has its uses on figures like this. But otherwise, again, well painted, well sculpted, and again, a good figure to throw into that 90s wave. But if you like this video, please make sure to hit that like button. Subscribe if you do want to see more content just like this. And aside from that, thanks for stopping by today, and have a great day.